The house on Wren Street. No one spoke of the house on Wren Street. Tucked between two modern homes, it was a decaying structure with broken windows like eyes that had seen too much. Children crossed the street to avoid it. Dogs refused to bark near it. And old Mrs. Callahan, who had lived in the neighborhood for 40 years, would only say one thing when asked about it. Open quote, her eyes were sewn shut with regret. Close quote. No one understood what that meant. Not until Emily moved in. Two, a new beginning. Two, a new beginning. Emily Crane was a quiet artist in her late 20s, newly divorced and searching for solitude. The real estate agent, a nervous man with thinning hair, warned her. Open quote, the house is old, really old. Locals say it's cursed, that no one lasts longer than a season. Close quote. But Emily didn't believe in curses, just bad memories. And she needed a place to start over. She moved in with her cat, Vincent, and dozens of canvases. The house welcomed her with silence, too much of it. No creaking floors, no wind against the windows, just hush. Three, the locked room. There was one room she couldn't open, the door upstairs, third on the right, wouldn't budge. Emily tried all her keys, even called a locksmith. It's like it's welded shut, the man muttered, frowning. You sure you want to live here? Emily just smiled and said, mystery is good for creativity. That night she dreamt of the door opening on its own. Inside was a little girl sitting in a chair, her eyes black and weeping thread. The girl whispered, open quote, don't see what she saw. Close quote. Emily woke up screaming, IV. The painting begins. As days passed, Emily started painting again. But something was off. She began painting the same woman over and over. Pale, hollow cheeks, mouth stitched shut, and her eyes sewn shut with black thread that dripped ink. Emily didn't remember painting these portraits. She'd wake up with paint on her hands, her brush still wet. Vincent would hiss at the canvases and hide under the bed. One night, she found a new painting, one she hadn't made, leaning against the locked room's door. The woman's stitched eyes bled. The signature read, Marla. The tapes. In the attic, Emily discovered a dusty box filled with old VHS tapes. Each tape had a name written in faded ink. Marla, 1987, was the one she picked first. She hooked up an old VCR and pressed play. The grainy footage showed a young girl, maybe 13, staring into the camera. My name is Marla, she whispered, and the house sees everything. It watches through mirrors, through dreams, through eyes. I tried to stop seeing, but she wouldn't let me. Then Marla looked off camera and screamed. The screen filled with static. Emily threw up in the sink. V. Whispers in the night. The house had grown colder. The walls whispered now. Emily would hear her name spoken in a child's voice at 3 a.m. sharp every night. Once, she caught her own reflection lagging in the mirror. It didn't blink when she did. Instead, it smirked and pressed black thread against its eyes. Vincent disappeared that night. Ride. She found only his collar sitting in front of the locked door. The seventh, the diary. She found the diary beneath a loose floorboard in the kitchen. The leather-bound book belonged to someone named Beatrice Harrow, dated 1893. The entries were frantic, the handwriting erratic. Open quote, I tried to hide the truth in her, sew it away, but the eyes always open again. She was just a girl. I didn't know she'd remember. Marla sees everything. She speaks through the canvas, through the dreams. Her eyes were sewn shut with regret. Close quote. Emily dropped the diary and backed away. The locked door began to thud, softly, rhythmically, like a heartbeat. Op 8. The room opens. It happened on a Sunday. The sky outside was gray, and silence hung like a noose in the air. Emily walked past the third door, and it was open. No sound, no creak, just open. Inside was the same chair from her dream. Empty. The walls were covered in handprints, hundreds of tiny black handprints. On the floor sat a sewing kit and a single glass eye. And above the chair, written in thread across the ceiling, see what she saw. Emily backed out, but the door slammed shut behind her. Ash X, the possession. That night, Emily couldn't sleep. The walls whispered louder. The paintings began to move. Her hands shook as she painted against her will, not with a brush, but with her fingers smearing red and black. A face emerged, Marla's, but this time the eyes were open, wide, hollow, screaming. And behind her stood Beatrice Harrow, holding a sewing needle. Emily cried out, but her voice didn't come. She ran to the mirror, her reflection stared back at her, and her eyes were gone. Only thread, black, sewn tightly. She clawed at them, but blood seeped from the stitches. The final tape. The last VHS tape appeared on her bed, not in the attic, not in a box, just sitting there, labeled in fresh ink, Emily. Shaking, she inserted it into the VCR. The screen showed her sleeping, every night, every moment since she moved in. Then the footage shifted to Marla, standing over her, needle in hand, smiling. She leaned close to the camera and whispered, open quote, now she sees, and she regrets, close quote. XI. The ending neighbors reported strange activity the night Emily disappeared. Screams, lights flickering, a high-pitched sewing sound that never stopped. When police entered the house, they found no sign of her, just her paintings, hundreds of them, all of the same girl. Eyes stitched shut. The locked room was empty, except for a single chair and a canvas with the words, her eyes were sewn shut with regret. To this day, the house remains vacant. But sometimes at 3 a.m., passersby claim to see a woman in the upstairs window. Her eyes are sewn shut, and yet she still sees you.
If you enjoyed our video, please subscribe to our channel, share the video with others, and don't forget to like it.